Alrighty, we are going to go over fasting and prayer tips, or praying and fasting tips. And so let's get started. We want to go over the purpose of fasting, and it's basically to hear God's voice, get closer to Him, or to deepen our relationship with Him. So fasting is biblically is not for reasons, such as losing weight or, just things that are, I guess, more physical or earthly. But there is a relational and eternal or spiritual purpose behind fasting. And also what is going on is you're basically exchanging your natural affections, what you would normally do, habits, all types of or different types of activities where you take in a lot of information, a lot of, just worldly things from music to movies to, entertainment places that you go. You basically shut down a lot of that, if not all or most of it, within reason and within, the lifestyles that you may live, because, we have family and you have work and you have environments that you have to go into, so that you can hear him. And so you do set aside time for prayer. You set aside time to get in the scriptures, and you do that regularly, like each day, if not 2 or 3 times a day, especially because biblically fasting also involves, to some level, the abstaining of food and drink. And so there's different types of fasts. And so we won't go over that in this one. We just want to go over the tips, um, concerning preparing to fast. Okay. And so Colossians 3:2 says, set your affections on things above, not on things on the earth. And so the first step or tip I would like to go over is you want to decide to prepare to fast, especially, say for instance, the fast is pushed out. Maybe it's going to start in 2 weeks, or it's going to start at the first of the year, and you have actual, days and times to get ready. And so one of the things you want to do is you want to start pulling back from some things. You want to start, not eating as much, so there's things you can do to really get in a habit of denying yourself, because fasting, you are physically denying yourself so that God can give you a spiritual increase, information, revelation, in relationships. So you decide to fast. And a real good introduction to fasting is Isaiah 58. Chapter 58, starting at verse 6. We won't read that. I believe it goes all the way to 9, but it talks about the attitude that we should have regardless of what fast we're taking. And one of the things I will say is it talks about how, you can't mistreat your family or mistreat your workers, employees, or what have you, and then think that I am hearing you or accepting your fast. So God wants us to understand that when we are fasting, that we are definitely making sure there's priority that we take care of, all relationships with people. So we talked about the first thing, deciding to fast by preparing, and yeah, deciding to fast by preparing, and then biblical fasting involving abstinence from food and drink to certain levels and certain extents. Okay, so step two, what kind of fast? There's different types of fast. And so when you are in your scriptures or when you're fasting corporately, for the most part, there will be an announcement, or God will show you what type of fast. And the type of fast, a lot of times, also is connected to a certain purpose. So different fasts serve different purposes. Alrighty. And so it also has a certain length to it. So how long is the fast? How many days is the fast? So types of fast, those things go together. What kind of fast and how long is the fast? And what the dietary adherence will you abide by? Alrighty. Step three, pray and commit the fast. to God. So during this preparation time, one of the main things that I encourage people to do is commit the fast to God. Commit the time that you're spending um, in prayer, in the fast. Like if it's a 21-day fast, if it's a 3-day fast, if you're fasting for 1 day, 2 days, or you fasting 1 day a week, commit that to God. Commit that commitment to God, and so that the Holy Spirit will remind you, so you will be kept, so that there will be a seriousness and a blessing over that time. Okay. And I also, when you're praying, pray that it be victorious. Pray that it be acceptable as a whole fast, that God receives the offering of your fast, and ask Him to keep you till the end. Because our flesh loves to, I want to cut this off early. It wants to come out of that discipline, especially if you're not accustomed to fasting. So when you're praying and committing your fast to God, you're also asking that you be kept to the end. Number 4, I always encourage people, especially when you're corporately fasting, to confess your obstacles. Come together regularly, like during those days before the fast starts, and just begin to confess obstacles, confess fears, hesitations, issues, doubts about fasting. Get questions answered. Do your research. Read a good book on prayer and fasting, so that you can have more insight about the heart of it. Because when you're fasting, that's really what it is. It's about the heart and connecting that heart to God in a deeper way. Okay. And so definitely do it with people who are devout. Do it with someone who is, familiar with fasting. So step 4, meditate on scriptures and become more aware of your why and the purpose, and gain something from it. You don't want to go in empty, go in with the wrong reasons for a fast. You don't want to go in focused on how much weight you're going to lose. You want to go in for a real reason. You want to go in, and not to say that's not a real reason, that can come with it depending on how you fast, but to go in for reasons that are attached to the purpose of the fast. Step 5, see yourself in your mind. This is part of preparation now. See yourself turning down any and all forms of temptation. Most of the time, you can ask pretty much anyone that fasts, or you can, especially if this is not a regular exercise for you, the day of the fast, that's the day that someone will bring donuts to work. That's the day that someone will serve your favorite dinner. That's the day someone will ask to take you out to eat. You have to see yourself in the preparation days turning down, telling yourself, we are going to be committed. I can taste cupcakes or chicken spaghetti when I'm off the fast. So you really have to get your mind, your mental, your psychological, your taste buds ready to say no. And that's why it's best to also pull back from eating. Eat lesser portions, eat less before you actually start the fast, so that you will be more accustomed to denying yourself, because the more you do it, the stronger you get at it. Alrighty. And so, so see yourself turning down any form of temptation. It may not just be food. It could be watching TV. It could be watching a movie that's really vulgar. It can be anything that causes you to compromise or pause or disrespect the fast. Okay. Step 6, let your closest family and friends know that you're fasting. And I know the Bible talks about, fasting, you fast in secret, this and that and the other. But one of the reasons why you want to be balanced in that arena, and first of all, he was talking about don't be showy with it. He wasn't talking about, in other words, if you're going to tell someone you're fasting, you don't tell someone so that you can look like you're really super spiritual. That's what the Bible was talking about. It wasn't saying, okay, it's a total secret when you're fasting. That's not what it was saying. So I also encourage people to let your closest family and friends know, because many times your family and friends want to do certain things with you, or will invite you to activities where you have, in a sense, made up your mind that you're not going to do for whatever reason. Maybe it's a weak spot. Maybe it's a temptation. Maybe if you have a little bit, you'll go all the way with something, whether it's food, candy, anything that you're choosing to abstain from, coffee, what have you. So you want to let the people that you come in contact with on a regular basis, the people that cook for you, hey, I won't be eating meat. It's a wise thing to do, because people, it costs money to prepare dinner, and it costs them their time and their heart. And so you want to make sure that people know, hey, I'm not going to be eating meat for a couple weeks, for 3 days, for a week, on Mondays. So you let your closest family and friends know you're fasting. All righty. Step 7. When you're preparing, make sure part of your preparation too is noting the times in which, maybe say there's an anniversary or a birthday or some kind of special gathering, because you want to have your mind made up about some things beforehand. And this also where it comes to knowing yourself. If I know myself, for instance, I give you an example. If there's a birthday coming, I know they're going to serve cake, or I know they're going to serve my favorite, or nachos, or whatever, something like that, then I need to already have a conversation with myself, and also practice, not eating and consuming whatever it is that I have committed to. And so I need to already be at the birthday party and see myself saying, no, no cake, don't bring it over here. I don't need it. And that's also something you put before God. God strengthen me so that I won't be tempted. If you decide to modify your fast, say for instance, you decide to commit to the fast, but you are abstaining from everything except that day. Maybe it's the anniversary with your spouse, or your best friend's birthday celebration. She wants you to go out to eat with her. If you're not going to stick with the dietary restrictions that you have through the menu at that restaurant, and say for instance she order something, she said, hey, eat with me or drink with me, then if you modify your fast, one of the things you want to do is you want to have that commitment and know yourself ahead of time, because some people can't do that. Some people can't stop and start. Some people, if they lean a little, they're going all the way in. So you have to know yourself, and know if you're convicted in doing that. So step 8, be honest about your vow. Don't vow above what you can commit to. Take in consideration how long the fast is. And so can you do without coffee 3, 5, 10, 20 days, depending on how long the fast is? Can you do without coffee physically, mentally? So these things, you would pray about, ask God to strengthen you, and also be honest with your vow. But your vow needs to be a sacrifice. You don't make it easy for yourself. That's not a sacrifice. God is asking for you to pull away from something so that he can give you more of himself, and give you more of what he has in mind. Put it like that. All right, step 9. Make sure your conversations involve more about what you're studying, what you're reading, your devotions, versus eating. So many people focus in on what you're not eating, or what you're eating, or what you're going to shop. The focus should not be on food. The focus is, I'm getting closer to God. I'm not getting closer to food. I'm getting closer to God. And so many people switch or swap or flip flop that, and so you want to make sure that you keep that to a minimum. In fact, when I was at my first church, in my spiritual experience, our pastors basically gave us very, very wise instructions. They said, do not discuss food with each other. Do not discuss food with each other. And I remember stopping, the first lady, and I was like, was pastor's wife. And I was like, why would you say that? Um, and she let me know because everyone's conviction is different. So you may be abstaining from breads, or you may be abstaining from this, or you may be abstaining from sweets, or you may be abstaining from meats. Well, this person over here may go and shop for, um, an alternative kind of meat. And so if you were to, discuss that with someone, someone could try to judge the fact that you're eating a meatless burger or an alternative type of meat to serve as you not eating meat. And so people will give you their opinions and pass judgment. And so it's why it's best for you not to discuss it. That's why it's best to stay away from food conversations. Now, if you live together and you all are partnering corporately to help each other be sustained during the fast, that's totally different. You know each other well, this and that and the other. You're not going to, make comments or be judgmental, then you need to know and go as far as what you feel like you can go. And so, but the best advice is don't discuss it. Because you will find out pretty quickly that people will continue to be people. Alrighty. So step 10, have a clean or fresh journal or notebook set aside for recording conversations and what God is laying on your heart, scriptures, things that you are talking about or settling within yourself during the fast. So this is very, very key because there are conversations that fasting opens up that not fasting does not. If that's the right way to say that. And so there are things that God will deal with you on that, wow, it took this for me to have this conversation, to actually sit still and to be at a place of listening. And so, and that way you can have a reference point, and see yourself grow and also refer back to, the conversation that you had when fasting. Step 11, do your research on the kind of fast the God's leading you to. And so, there's Daniel fast, there's the Esther fast, there's the Moses fast. And so there's many types of fast. So do your research because, like I said, certain foods, certain days go with these types of fasts. You also want to make sure that if you have a particular diet, maybe say you can't abstain from certain things, then you want to research the fast and modify. You want to make sure you have these conversations ahead of time so that you're not feeling convicted because you have a medical condition or issue. But there's always 9 times out of 10 something you can sacrifice, even if you have a medical condition such as diabetes, or if you're anemic and there's certain things you need to eat. Well, there's certain things that you can also do without that you normally don't. And so um, you want to look over those foods and make sure that you are actually giving something in exchange for God giving himself to you. Step 12. Alrighty. And so there's exchange going on. I talked about that quite a bit. And so many times people can fast. Let's just go into that real quick. Because there's some hard questions. There's some decisions they need to make. There's some dilemmas that's facing them. So fasting has a purpose. It has a heart to it. There's some things that you like, God, I want this to stop happening. I want this to be straightened out. And so fasting can get you in a place where you are willing to, not just make a sacrifice, for yourself, but you're not eating as much, you're not as distracted, so that you can actually be focused in on anything that God would bring to your attention. And so you want to make sure that you're positioning yourself for the wisdom that you will receive, because fasting does open the door to a lot more than what you normally get. I talk about modifying the fast and the grace to restart. If you fall off the fast, good news, you can get back on. You can get back on. You just repent and get back on the fast. It's that simple. Oh, I broke the fast. Okay, I can't continue. No excuses. Get back up, continue. I'm talking about as soon as. I'm not even talking about the next day. If you're like, oh my God, I forgot meat was in this. If you forgot meat was in something, it's small. Don't let small things stop a major transaction, you know. So do what you feel in your heart you need to do, but stay on the fast and stay with your vow. Alrighty. Be true to yourself. Don't overvow. And we actually went over that. So actually 13 steps is final. All right, I hope this blessed you.